testing. We have sound. I think we're in focus. We have a tea. To be honest, today I just really wanted to make a video. I didn't really have a plan about what I wanted to make a video about because I'm making a bunch of historical videos at the moment and they are all stuck in review stages or research stages, and so they're not going to be ready for quite a while. And so I just wanted to make something to just put out onto the world to say that I still make things. I set up my camera with my new microphone. Thank you to SwingStat for that. But yeah, I felt like I needed to make a thing, and so we'll see what happens. So the other day I had the absolute pleasure to teach a little taster beginner class situation. I did a little in 20s Charleston and it was very silly and very fun. But the thing that I did in that class that makes me really happy as an instructor was that I managed to talk about the history of the dance a lot in this class. I managed to talk about the roots from West African tribal dances. I managed to talk about what the Charleston meant in the context of the time that it was in. I managed to name drop lots of different dancers and lots of different styles of dancing, as well as talk about the musical structure and how the little choreo we were creating together in that class would complement the music and how we can be more mindful and listen to the music and understand the swing era better through listening to their music. And that made me really happy because something that I've been working on a lot, as you possibly know if you watch this channel, is that I'm doing a lot of research and creating content talking about the history of the dance because I love it. I'm a massive nerd and having a little research project brings me so much joy. But I want to be able to put this knowledge to use. I want to put this knowledge to use in my classes in particular. What I'm trying to do now is make sure there are places and markers in my class plans where I have like a little bit of Lindy Hop history ready to go and ready to put into that class material. So one of the things I used to do at Swing Maniacs in Madrid is there were whiteboard markers in every single classroom and a wall of mirrors. And so I would always make sure to try and write a name of a dancer that people could research or a particular thing that they could look into in their own time, so people would take pictures of the mirror with the writing on it to give people the opportunity to continue their learning outside of the classroom. And also understanding a little bit more about how this dance came to be. That this is a dance that was formed out of oppression, and this is a dance that was formed because people needed something to be joyful about. There are so many things that I have learned in my research that I need to find a way to make sound bites out of, and not sound bites that are simplifying it, and not sound bites that are pacifying the history, but a way that it's a little bit exciting and a little bit interesting and intriguing almost, in a way that hopefully if I drop them, these little sound bites into my classes, what I want to inspire is people to hear them and get intrigued and interested and do their own reading or do their own research, or even just ask me about it after class is also completely incredibly amazing. One of the luxuries we have in the Lindy Hop community is that we are doing a dance with a rich cultural history, and that we get to celebrate that and share that with our students. Another very obvious way to potentially link your classes more to the history of our dance is something I did in my final trimester at Swing Maniacs. With my solo jazz babies, we would start every single class by watching a clip. We would talk about the context of the clip, who was in it, why were they dancing, where were they dancing, what was the historical political moment of which they were dancing in, and then also look at the moves. And we would pick maybe 1 or 2 moves to learn that day, and sometimes it was stuff that I'd already planned. I'd be like, we're learning these things. And sometimes they would straight up ask me, can we do that? That looked wicked cool, I want to do that. And those were my favorite days. Even if they picked really hard things, like Around the World Charleston, they were absolute beginners, but they had very ambitious taste, and I love them deeply for that. But it was a really wonderful way to be able to celebrate those who came before us, and also a really great way to plan my classes. Every week I have to find a clip and find some technique or some move or some little detail in that clip that I thought my students would like to learn, and share that with them. I have a very strong belief that classes are not about the teacher standing in the middle of the room in the spotlight talking for hours on end. It should be about the students dancing to the music. However, I do also want to tell them about the history of the dance, and so it's like a balancing act that I'm playing with right now, but how much can I talk about history versus how much should they be dancing to music? Or maybe I should just talk while they're dancing. So this is just a little bit of word vomit because I'm in the middle of planning a whole season of classes for Dusty Jazz. I've got so much classes to plan, and I want so badly to make sure that I am doing right by those who came before me and making sure I'm putting a lot of context into what I'm talking about. As I am not a Black person and I am now carrying the tradition of a Black dance on to other non-Black people. For me, this is something that's really, really important. So if you have any suggestions on how you integrate history into your learning or into your teaching in comments, please share with me. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you think would be wonderful, because that's what I would like to have. Everyone just being wonderful together, lovely things. Lol, I have to edit this crap later. In case anyone was curious, life update wise, I'm doing very well. I'm really enjoying my time here in Italy so far. There's been a lot more culture shock than I was expecting. I think maybe I eased into life a little bit more in Madrid because I had a partner at the time who was also British. Here, I'm very, very much alone, slightly lonely. It also means I'm kind of like crashed headfirst into Italian culture and trying to make Italian friends to be able to find connections with people. So there's a little bit more culture shock than I was expecting. I don't know if that's something people are interested in. At this point in the last 10 years, I've now lived in 4 different European cities: London, Amsterdam, Madrid, and now Turin. I don't know if that kind of content is interesting to you guys about the differences between living in different places. On the bright side / terrible for my waistline side, there's an amazing gelato place like a 7-minute walk from my house, and it's taking all of my power right now not to just turn the camera off and go get an ice cream, because oh my god, it is so delicious and so accessible here. It's absolutely terrible for me. And on that delightful note, I wish you goodbye. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.